I've said this before and I'll say it again, that emotions, business, and money do not mix well together. And I know it's like super taboo to tell women, oh, quit being emotional, you're being too emotional, but someone needs to say it because women are the ultimate new money. It is what it is. Like, we weren't even allowed to have a credit card until like 1974. That means that there is women alive right now among us that were alive when they didn't have the right to have a credit card or sign for a business loan without a male co-signer present. The world has changed really, really fast and rapidly for women, and we're now doing things that we've never been allowed to do before. And then when you add the internet to it, and you add all of this noise and all of these voices, it becomes a hot mess really, really quickly. In episode 3 of my 100 Days of Transformation, before we even get to talking about business, before we start talking about money, before we start talking about sales and marketing, we have to talk about emotional control. Why? Because women are the ultimate new money. Women are new to business. Not only were we never allowed to do business in this way, we weren't, definitely didn't have the internet. And that can be a good thing or a bad thing depending on how emotional you are. If you are an emotionally intelligent person, and if you stack skill sets like sales and marketing on top of what you already know and already embody, oh my God, you are going to be drowning in money. It's raining money out there. You can print money on the internet. However, if you are not emotionally intelligent, if you tend to be very emotional when it comes to most things, especially when it comes to money and business, you are going to be in for a ride, and it's not going to be a pretty one. So if you want to be really successful in business and have a lot of money, you're going to have to become emotionally intelligent. So I tend to attract people that are in the self-aware Barbie. So I have 4 stages of consciousness that I teach from: the basic babe, self-aware Barbie, $1,000,000 babe, and high-end divinity. Self-aware Barbie is a woman that's repressing her emotions, holding her emotions. She's had to numb. She's had to just go for it, just work really, really hard, right? Based on whatever's happened. That used to be me. I used to just hold it in, get through it. And honestly, I love myself for that. Being able to lean on my masculine energy and get things done, I would 100% be in that position than in the position where I get overly emotional and overly chaotic and I can't work through things, right? However, what I teach women to do is go into the $1,000,000 babe consciousness. With the $1,000,000 babe consciousness, you are more braided in your masculine and feminine energy. That means that you can feel your body, you can feel your emotions, but they do not run your life. They do not have a hold on you. They do not make your business decisions. You do not react, you respond. So if you tend to get really emotional and start self-sabotaging, this video is for you. So there's this wonderful concept by, I have my notes over here somewhere. Hold on, let me grab my notes. By D. Scott Smith, and it's called The Valley of Despair. I'm actually gonna put his chart over here on the side somewhere. And what D. Scott Smith talks about is that when we first come in contact with something, so let's say that you want to lose weight and you find out about this like really new exciting diet, and you're like, yay, I'm gonna do the keto diet, or I'm gonna do the vegan diet, whatever it is. When we first find something, our emotions are high about it, our excitement is high, we're in like a high state. We're like, yes, I can do this, like this is gonna be the thing that changes my life. This is the thing I've been praying for. This is what I've been looking for. By the way, you're in my media room, in our family like movie, TV, theater room. So I just find it like really nice to be able to close the door and have it be soundproof and yell at my phone. So you're really in a high state and you're really, really excited. But notice that as you progress through doing the things you need to do, like now you have to like change your shopping behavior when it comes to food. Now you have to make different recipes. Maybe you're going out with friends and they're eating whatever they want to eat. And all of a sudden you're going to have a dip in your state. You're going to have a dip. You're going to go through the valley of despair. This is where most people quit. They're like, what? This is hard. Maybe this is dangerous. Maybe it's bad for you. Maybe it's a fad. Yeah, it's a fad. Forget it. And then they quit. They jump off. And then they just start doing the old thing again for a while until they find a new something. And this time they go, this must be different. I'm going to try this. And then they have a high state. They're super duper duper excited about it again. And then a few weeks later or a few days later, they have the dip. They have that valley of despair, and then they start the whole cycle over again. So most people do not stay long enough. They can't manage their state and their emotions long enough to get to the first win. And the first win doesn't even have to be a big win. It can be a little win. And so what elite athletes, what top performers, what successful 7, 8, 9-figure women know is that if you can manage your state through the dip, through that little point where you're like, oh my God, why am I doing this? This is hard. I have to change my behavior. I can't eat this. I can't do this. I have to raise my floor. If you can manage yourself through that state, you will have success. This is why we hire coaches. This is why we hire mentors, because we will struggle in this. So if you think of the elite athletes that used to hire coaching, remember that coaching is not therapy. I know recently it's getting really murkied up and I can't stand it because a lot of people that actually need to be in therapy are trying to come to coaching and then saying, oh my God, it doesn't work. It's a scam. No, you're not ready for coaching. Coaching is something that's for elite athletes wanting to go to the next level. That means you have to have a certain mindset. That means that you're coming in knowing that with this new goal that you're having, you're going to have a dip. And you need someone that has gone before you, that is an expert in what they do and what they teach, that can be there with you when you're going through the dip. Let me give you the biggest secret. As a 8-figure creator, I've helped hundreds of thousands of women go through the dip. And this is pretty much most of coaching, is being able to help people manage their dip. I'll tell you a big secret. Most of coaching is being able to help people manage the dip. Because people deal with the dip in so many crazy ways. They might manage the dip by going in the extreme other direction. So let's say they wanted to lose 10 pounds, get in the fittest shape of their life, and they're like 2 weeks in and the dip hits, and instead of saying, oh my God, I'm feeling some resistance, I'm feeling like I can't do this, let me get some coaching, they go and they'll eat like 20 pounds worth of something. Like now they've gone into the negative. They've gone in the extreme other direction. While other people might start self-sabotaging. They're succeeding here, but they'll go pick a fight with their husband. They'll go pick a fight with their family member. There is so many things people will do in this dip. And if you are a coach or you're wanting to be a coach, let me tell you, the number one thing you're going to have to learn to do is manage people's bullshit when they're going through the dip. They might even blame you. They might say suddenly they can't log into the portal. Suddenly they can't figure out where everything is in the thing. Suddenly they're overwhelmed because you gave them too much content. It's going to be all kinds of things. All that's happening is I can like time it now with all the women I work through. It's like 1, 2, 3, dip. It's coming. It's so predictable. It's just the science of transformation. And so today I'm telling you this in episode 3. You might not be there yet. Right now you're like, yes, Mina's posting 100 days of transformation. I'm so excited. Yay. By 1 week in, you're not going to like me anymore. By 2 weeks in, you might be like, what is this bitch talking about? I just want to be feminine. I just want to marry a rich guy and not do anything. I thought we were supposed to like not do anything and you're going to have all kinds of things coming up. And I bet that you have a pattern of this, because if you are wanting big things in your life and you have big goals and you go towards them, you have experienced the dip. And now I want you to really be honest with yourself. Are you the type of person that pushes through the dip? Or are you the type of person that goes backwards every time the dip happens, and then you wait, and then you get into your valley of despair, and then you start the whole cycle again? I have seen it all. Being in the industry and being someone that has been obsessed with personal development since I was 7, I have personally been through it all, and I have seen it all with my clients. So you might as well quit now if you're not going to be able to manage yourself through the dip. If you're going to start going crazy, if you're going to be overly emotional, if you're going to start blaming the world and the government and everyone and all the things, it's not going to happen for you because you are used to making lateral moves. When you make lateral moves, the dip hits you, but it's not that big. It's not that big. When you start making power moves, bold moves, playing on the edge moves, going all in moves, the dips are bigger. You think you're gonna die in the dips. Remember in Queens of Money, in lesson 1, I talked about how when you're looking over the dip, when you're looking over your goals, all you see is a black pit and you feel like you're gonna die. Your brain goes, oh my God, we don't know what's gonna happen. What if the keto diet kills us? What if this coaching container drowns me and then I die? That's what you start doing. So you have to learn to build that pathway. Otherwise, you're going to be 80 years old and you're always going to be starting new. That's why we're always burning things down. You know when we burn things down? When we're at the dip, when we're in the valley of despair, this is when we start burning things down. That's why starting over is so exciting. Because starting over, it's like, yay, I get to do something new. You get to lie to yourself. You get to bullshit yourself when you're starting something new and tell yourself, this is the time that it's going to be different. The only way we know if it's going to actually be different is, how do you manage your dips? How do you manage when resistance hits? How do you manage when the valley of despair shows up? Do you manage it by blowing up outwards, blaming everything? Blaming everyone around you, the systems, the structures, the government, the coaches, the content creators, my parents? Or are you the type that just burns it down so you can start it over again and then you get to be in excitement? Are you the type of person that gets to be excited for 2 weeks every couple of months because you're starting something new only to burn it down again? Girl, you need emotional control. You need my Lady Balls Intensive. I highly recommend it. If you want to move forward, if you're serious about doing big things, you're going to have emotional control. And the emotional control doesn't show up in the first 2 weeks. That's when emotions are high already. You're like in high vibe times. How are you when it gets hard? How are you when it looks like it's not going to work? How are you when the momentum starts building and you start self-sabotaging? How are you then? How do you walk yourself through the valley of despair? Valley of despair. Everyone feels overwhelmed. Are you able to metabolize it? Everyone feels fear. Are you able to metabolize it? Everyone faces resistance. Are you able to metabolize it? If the answer is no, it will always be someone else's fault. I have joined so many coaching containers and then called myself out on my own bullshit because I join a coaching container. I'm excited. A week in, I'm overwhelmed. Mina, interesting. Valley of despair moment. Nope, it's not the coach's fault. It's not because she gave me too much. Okay, she doesn't need to bottle feed me and spoon feed me. I'm experiencing resistance, which means that I'm in the right place. Because if this was a lateral move for me, I wouldn't face any resistance. So those of you guys that quit your diet every weekend and start Monday, and you've been doing that for 20 years, that's a lateral move. That's why you haven't been able to pass through the valley of despair. What would be a power move is setting yourself up for success, getting a trainer, a coach, a nutritionist, setting yourself up where you have no chance to fail. Getting your insurance policy in order. That's a power move. Stop making lateral moves and calling it power moves. You've been doing that for 20 years, 30 years, 40 years for some of you. That's not a power move. That's the same old shit you say every Friday and every Monday. It's the same thing. Why do you think it's going to work now if it hasn't worked in 30 years? You're going to have to learn to manage your emotions and you're going to need support in doing it. So set up the support. Set it up. And then when you show up in that support, watch how you act. Now, managing your emotions and having emotional control is not about pretending to be high vibe all the time. That's not really a mature way of living. In fact, I've seen a lot of people trying to be high vibe when they're actually not feeling high vibe, when it's not really the truth of the moment that they're in right now. They might be facing duality. They might be going through really serious things in their life right now. And so this is a model I think all of us adapted a couple of decades ago when we learned the law of attraction and we were first in the whole manifestation thing. And it helped us. It definitely helped me in the season of life that I was in. Learning about the law of attraction and manifestation, it helped me so much. And then eventually I had to evolve the definition of what it meant to be high vibe. Because here's the truth. As a wife, mother, as a real life woman with an 8-figure global brand and business things and life things and family members, things that every human being has to deal with, I can't always have a high vibration. But you know what I can have? I can have a really big vibration. I can have really big energy. I can go deep. And that is something that comes with maturity and something that you can train yourself in. You don't have to be in high vibration all the time. That doesn't even make sense as a business owner, as a real life human being, because your energy is not going to be high. But if you can start building a really wide and deep vibration, if you can start having a big energy, that means that no matter what life gives you, whether it's your highest, most joyful moment, like the birth of a child, or you're in a time of grief, like a passing of a loved one, or maybe you're now transitioning from being married to divorced, or maybe you have aging parents, real life stuff, you can still hold everything by expanding your capacity and showing up like a real human being and not a freaking robot that has to pretend like you're high vibe all the time, especially when you're not. And one of the things that I really love about my company is that I have been able to create courses in the last 9 years at every season of life. So I have courses that I've built when I was, in the middle of the loss of my father, when I was in the middle of other dualities that was happening in my life. And so I had to get rid of this whole thing of high vibe, because sometimes I'm not in high vibe. But you know what I'm always in? I'm always in big energy. That means that I can breathe deep. I can be where I'm at. I can meet the moment where it's at, and I can expand into a new level of holding. Because if every single thing that happens in my life and I have to burn things down and I can't create content because I'm not in high energy, or I have to fake high energy, that's not real. And people are very energy sensitive and they can sense that kind of stuff. And so just showing up as a real human being that can meet where you're actually at, breathe through it, expand through it, and still show up and do the thing that you're required to do. That's what it takes to be a full Homo sapien human. Because we act like life is so tough now, but if you actually look at our history, life was really, really tough. It's the easiest that it's ever been, and it continues to get easier. We have better medical care, we have better technology, we have better systems, we have better tools for regulating and connection. It's always getting better. But because we're always swimming in negativity and social media and news, it feels like it's getting worse. It's really not. Do you even know where we came from and what our ancestors have gone through? We are so freaking resilient. That's how we got here. We got here because of the grit and resilience of our ancestors. And now we're all of a sudden acting like we can't figure shit out. We're broken. We're overwhelmed. Breathe through it. You got this. Learn to actually, instead of always thinking of going high energy, go big, go deep. And that is actually what is going to expand your capacity to be able to hold more. It is a myth that we're overwhelmed. Actually, we're addicted to suffering because Homo sapiens are not used to abundance. We're used to lack. We're used to scarcity. We've never had this much abundance before. That's why we act like we can't handle it, because our nervous systems can't handle it. We cannot handle the fact that we are not going to die from just driving to work. Before, just going out hunting and gathering was a huge thing. We could get killed. Diseases meant entire tribes were wiped out. We are coming from really hard times. We're still programmed for scarcity and fear. If you actually look at us, even at our worst moments, oh my God, our ancestors would have prayed for that situation. So when you're feeling overwhelmed, when you're feeling like you can't handle it, breathe through it, expand through it. I have a 3-week nervous system reboot that's actually going to wire you for abundance, not just survival. Stop doing survival. Let's get into abundance already. Stop looping in inner work all the time. You're not broken. Let's start actually creating stuff. I'm ready to get into the architecture phase. I'm teaching in my in-person intensive in January. my 3 phases of the Addicted to Abundance framework, which is archaeology, which is for therapy. We're not doing that. Alchemy, love that. We need a little sprinkle of that a couple times a year. And then architecture, that's where you should be living, is architecture. You shouldn't be living in archaeology, but that's where you're living all the time. My content is massively shifting. I'm ready for deep architecture for all of women. We have been given an opportunity like no other Homo sapien female like ever. And we're over here crying about stupid things and being overwhelmed. If that's you, I'm so sorry, but I'm moving this channel and this content to the next phase, and we're stepping into massive architecture. Are you ready to build something? Are you ready to take the abundance that our ancestors used to pray for, could only dream of, couldn't even dream of, was beyond their wildest dreams, and actually ready to do something about it? That's my laundry machine in the background. Yeah, I'm a real woman with the real stuff, with the real chores, okay? Are you ready? Let me know if you're ready, because I've got one more. Episode 4 is going to be about changing your state, and then we're moving into business. We're moving into money really fast. So let me know if you are a 6-figure woman, 7-figure woman, 8-figure, or 9-figure. Where are you headed? And let me know if you're ready to do architecture with me, because girl, we're going there.